Okay, good evening. I'm calling this meeting of the Germantown Board of Education to order at 7:01 p.m. I ask you to join me in standing, if you're able, to say a pledge allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Official meeting notification, Mr. Holmes.
Public notice of all meetings is given by communication from the superintendent's office to those news media who have filed a written request for such notice, and the Milwaukee Journal Sentinel, Northwest Now, and Express News. Public notice has also been posted in all schools and buildings throughout the district, on the school district's website, and on the cable television channel 96.
Thank you. Roll call. Billy Joe.
Soderberg.
Here.
Medved.
Here.
Loaf.
Here.
Gordon.
Here.
Barney.
Here.
Spees.
Here.
Larson. Here.
Item 2, approval of the agenda.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second.
Discussion? No discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Item 3, citizen comments. I don't believe we had anybody sign up tonight, but would anybody like to speak tonight? Okay, moving on. Item 4, approval of the February 10, 2020 Board of Education minutes,
Move
or
to
meeting.
approve the February 10th board minutes.
Second.
Okay, discussion? No discussion. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Item 5, reports and information items. Our student representative is not here tonight, so we're going to go on to item B, Amy Bell Air Quality Meeting Update. Mr. Holmes.
Yes, last week, Wednesday, February 12th, a presentation was made to Amy Bell Elementary School constituents regarding results of air quality testing that occurred there since completion of the construction projects. Concerns regarding the quality of the indoor air had been raised since completion of the projects, particularly regarding carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. Representatives from Environmental Management Consultants, who is the Air Quality Testing Service, C.D. Smith, our construction manager, PRA, the architects/designers, Frederickson, who are the HVAC engineering for that particular part of the projects, and Train, who installed the equipment there, were in attendance for the presentation to provide information and answer questions from those in attendance. We had approximately 20 individuals who showed up for the meeting. After the EMC representative explained the air quality report and the reason for it, constituents asked questions of the third-party providers that were there and of school officials. Mr. Soderberg was in attendance, I was in attendance, and our director of facilities, Don Erickson, was also in attendance. By the end of the meeting, it had been explained about air quality, reasons for concerns, remedies to the concerns, and Amy Bell's status in that regard. The meeting concluded with the understanding that all levels of air quality considerations are well within the safe range for building occupancy at this juncture. District officials, we did assure the folks that were there that there is another testing that will be coming up here in the spring. Even though we're not required to do these testings by the state, it was one of the things where I do believe that the district was being proactive in regard to listening to people's concerns. Remedies were being made along the way based on recommendations from environmental what is their EMC. I'm going to use the acronym. EMC. It's what I know them as, is EMC.
It's Environmental Management Consulting.
There we go. And, so adjustments were being made. A lot of this is because you have to wait on people to tell you how things are working, where levels are at, how to adjust the controls. We have issues right now in regard to air intakes and where those things are placed. We wound up, we were hoping the air handlers would take care of some of the issues, and they did. They alleviated things. They got things adjusted, but levels were still not where we would like them to be. We wound up adjusting where our pickup drop-off lines, which are not they're in opposition to what was designed, what the place was designed for. So again, we're talking to our designer in that regard. So it's ongoing. We have another testing coming up in the spring. And what I did learn from this process is the best thing to do is go ahead, once those results are in, have another face-to-face. Because again, when we put out the results, found out that they were too technical for the majority of people to understand. They were too technical for me, but it was, what we found is when EMC can be there and give things in layman's terms, it goes a whole lot better. So my take, and I would look to Mr. Soderberg to explain otherwise, I felt like by the end of the meeting, the majority of people had a better understanding and a better grasp on the situation, that at no point in time were our students and staff in harm's way, and it is getting better.
Yeah, I concur. It was a wonderful meeting, and thank you for setting it up with all the subject matter experts. I think it was well received. Questions, comments from the board? Okay, moving on to item C, Performing Arts Center Activities Update. Mr. Holmes.
Ms. Polkowski, welcome.
Thank you. Sorry, I know it's been a while. I'm going to go ahead and pass out our updates. And feel free to take a postcard if you guys didn't get some. We're really pleased with these. They went out to most of residential Germantown. So we're really excited about that. So yeah, it's been a while, but just some updates on what we've been doing since last time I saw you guys. We did our first play, Antigone. We had the German Heritage Showcase, the Community Holiday Band Concert, a couple other concerts, and we just finished Songs and Sweethearts. I don't know if anybody got out to come see that, but it was a really great show. Nothing but good things from everybody that came. That one particularly was going to be a challenge because it was targeted towards more community members rather than parents in the older community, and most of the people that came had never been to the PAC before. So we're excited about that.
Was it packed, or what was
We weren't expecting a full house or anything like that. We ended with 126, which was less than we were expecting, but it was well worth the effort of what we did. So we're excited about that. And it was a charged concert.
I can't remember, was it a Friday night or Saturday?
Saturday night, last Saturday. I think there's some pictures and video online, so follow us on Facebook. So we did this postcard. I did another one out in the fall to kind of kickstart, our plan for this season. So this is probably the last one we're going to do for this year, and there's more shows on the back, so you can see those. For Songs and Sweethearts, one of the things we did, we wanted to reach a wider audience, so we tried partnering with the restaurants so that they could offer buy one, get one coupons. We found that the public really liked that, but the restaurants weren't very proactive in handing them out. So we'll try something else, but it did help, I would say. For the people that knew about it and asked for it, they really did appreciate that. And it did help get more people in, but I think we can maybe try another tactic next year. Talk about that in a minute. We did have a really big meeting with Holmes and Rick and Billy Joe and a couple others where we sat down, I think before Christmas break, and we talked about where we want the PAC to go, where we want some of the activities that are going on in the PAC to go over the next few years. And that was a very enlightening meeting just to hear from everybody's perspective of where we have been, where we are now, where we think we're going. So a lot of the programs that we're working on right now are going to reflect that particular discussion. We'll see what works. I'm sure not everything will stick, but there were some really great ideas that came out of that. We still got the piano donation campaign going on. We've raised, I think, almost $5,000 now. So we're still working on that. We're, raising money for a brand new grand piano. We're really excited. Rentals coming in. Yes.
What's the grand piano going to be, total price?
We're expecting somewhere between 30 and 50. That's what most of them run, but we're being flexible based on how much we bring in over the 3-year campaign. Yep. We also just got a partnership with Chocolate Falls out of Menominee Falls. They're a downtown chocolatier, very cute, and they've agreed to supply us with some of their chocolate treats for our concessions area on consignment. So that helps us out a lot because we're not risking purchasing goods that we're not selling. We just take back whatever we don't sell. And that was the first time we did for Songs and Sweetheart. It worked really great. And we actually sold more because it was a lot more, people liked what they had to offer. So we're excited about that local partnership. We have a summer movie program, so we have the rights to do some movies in the theater, so over the summer we'll pick out some dates, whatever's left over, and we will do some community movies in our beautiful projection system. We're excited about that. A couple other little things. One of the big things I wanted to talk about or just mention tonight, I have been working based on the visioning meeting with Rick and a few others. We're trying to see what we can do to bring professional events to the theater. There's a lot of confusion about what is a school event versus, professional musicians versus rentals and that kind of thing. So if we want to bring professional groups into our theater, we have to be able to pay them. They're not just going to come based on the hope and promise of ticket sales like that, but that's not going to happen. So in order to achieve that, what many of the PACs like us do is they have some sort of nonprofit foundation or community group that comes together and is able to sponsor that activity. They usually fundraise or they have an endowment and they manage that, and then they use that to launch a professional series on behalf of the community. So we are working right now on structuring that. So we're doing a lot of research on the back end to figure out what are other PACs doing and what works for them, maybe what the challenges are before we really dig deep into that. But we are well on our way to, getting that going and maybe doing a test show sometime soon. Yes.
I think that's a great idea, and you might want to partner with the Germantown Community Scholarship Foundation from a benchmarking standpoint.
Yes.
But once you launch this thing, I can only presume that those within the community will be more than eager to donate to your nonprofit.
That would be lovely.
That'd be kind of cool.
We're really looking forward to it.
And get some corporate sponsors too.
We would really like that. We're doing our homework to make sure that we approach this the right way. And we really want to make sure that we're bringing shows to Germantown that they want to see. And I think we can do that. It'd be great. Now, at this point, I want to introduce Rachel Freud, who is the drama director, just started this year. She's going to talk a little bit about Legally Blonde.
Hi, Rachel.
Hi. It's nice to see you all. So right now we're working on Legally Blonde, and everything is going pretty well. I decided to do a 2-week tech weeks because the show is so massive. We have a lot of moving pieces and a lot of moving parts. Our wonderful set designer decided to put the set all on wheels. So while one scene is going, the lights will be down and we'll be moving on part of the stage, part of the set. The lights will magically go up and we'll be like, oh my god, how'd I get there? So it is definitely stressful seeing the kids kind of maneuver it themselves, and this is the first day that we've had the pit cover off. It came off just this morning, so all the kids got a chance to just kind of look down and see what lies below. But it's also very fun. They're doing well, they're working well together. I'm very lucky to have a good group of kids who appreciate being around each other. I have a great group of tech kids who work really hard and really like our set designer, Brian, who is new to Germantown this year as well, and he's a college student. So the fact that they like him is wonderful. They're picking things up pretty quickly, and they're doing really, really wonderfully. The other thing I would like to talk to you guys about is a summer theater program. It's something that Germantown is lacking, and I would love to provide that for this place. So if you turn to the last page of the packet that was handed out, I have just kind of a rough draft of what I was thinking. and I looked to other programs to see what they were doing as well. And so that we could compete price-wise, so that maybe people would come to us instead of to outside groups. So my thought process was going into K through 12, so that way we could hit every market. I was thinking about 20 elementary schoolers, 16 middle schoolers, 16 high schoolers. And this would be divvied up in the morning, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., the elementary schoolers, and we do various activities such as music theater, improv, theater games / character building. You know, what does a pirate act like? The fun stuff. And hopefully by the end they would put on a performance for their parents. Yeah,
Rachel, are you a certified teacher?
I am a certified teacher, K through 12 in the state of
All right, well, this
Wisconsin,
is-
theater.
This is the first time I'm seeing this. I actually think it's a wonderful thing. I need for you to speak with Brenda O'Brien. Have you had those discussions already?
I had talked to them about doing that. This wasn't the right time to coordinate this, and I had concern over the flow of the money in that regards and how that works for summer school credit. But I think we agreed that you would, when you come around the next year, 2021, summer of that, right? Is that what we said?
We can certainly do that. This would be more of a community open,
Yeah.
not so much a summer school.
Yeah, I
type
was
thing.
very much thinking community theater based.
I think you can
because
combine it. You've got an opportunity to combine here.
Totally.
You got an opportunity
Yeah,
to combine.
no doubt they have to talk to Mrs.
Can I just
O'Brien.
interject? I think it's great, and I think you guys will figure it out. We don't need to spend time talking now. I think
Yeah.
it's wonderful. No, continue to talk.
Okay.
But I think who
I can
does
talk all
what,
day about it. What do you
they'll
want?
figure it out. You
Yeah,
guys will figure it out, but I think it's awesome. what
My
you're doing.
apologies. This is the
No.
first time I've seen this, so
Yeah. Yeah, I am
It's
certified
good.
K through 12, specifically theater, because I love it. So I'll just pick up that education as well.
Part of it too is, if I can interject now. Yeah, just
Absolutely.
because, the community rec department used to have programs like this, and there used to be a community theater scene here in Germantown, but they are not currently providing that. So it's because we have the space and we have somebody that can manage that, we wanted to present this because it did seem like something that was lacking in Germantown.
I think Rachel and Heather, I think this is awesome. We've got a beautiful venue, and what better way of sharing it with the community and creating opportunities and experiences is exactly what you're doing. I think it's
Exactly,
great.
and to me, this is step number 1, and this would be over 2 weeks. June, I believe it's the 16th or the 15th through the 28th. It's right after school ends that this would be happening. That way it doesn't butt up against the 3rd of July. So that way because I know janitors have off on the 3rd. So this way we can have people in building. But yeah, this is just a first step to me because I would love to have full day theater programs and then at night have a community theater show during the summer. I think it's really important that we have these opportunities, not only just for students, but for also just the community at large. We have adults that want to perform and that want to act as well, so why not have it? We have the resources. But with this, middle school, they would focus on music theater, theater games, character work, and high school, scene study, and character work. Besides myself, I did not bring myself in this number particularly. Middle school and high school would be 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Just helping to break things up, have a nice lunch break, and allow parents and teachers to get there. For students that are interested in stage management, I would love them to intern with us and help run the behind-the-scenes program, because we definitely need help doing that. I would not have them help out with their fellow high school classmates, because what a mess. So, but they would definitely be helping with paperwork and all the things that go into that, so they can learn how to budget and where the money goes and how that all works. But, okay, so it would be 52 students total. $175 a week. If they were paid $15 an hour, $8 a day, 2-week camp, plus 16 hours of prep, which I think is fair and important that we give these teachers time to work together before we just throw them into a working environment. That comes out to $1,440 per teacher. And for all teachers total, it is $4,320 plus $1,000 for supplies. So that would bring our total spending to $5,320, and then hopefully a profit of $9,100. Or sorry, total of $9,100 made, a profit of $3,780. What I would love to do with the profit, if I could, is I want to make a scholarship. I think that would be super important and super meaningful. I don't think the child needs to go into theater to get this scholarship at all. I just think it's important that we highlight what theater can do and what it has the possibility of doing. Yeah. And that's my piece. Thank you for your time. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I remember when I was in elementary school, almost as plain as day, there were some students in my classes, not me of course, that were really afraid of public speaking and presenting to the class. So I think this is a good idea. At least 20 students, maybe more if it goes well.
Yeah, this
you know,
is definitely a test run. Dip our toes in.
Might become less shy, doing this.
Absolutely.
Because let's face it, theater is kind of a big deal, going out on stage and doing things. And the other thing, to go back a little bit, we're for the sets that are rolling in and rolling out, are those all built by our students in the high school?
For the most part, yeah.
Any rentals in that, or?
No, we aren't renting any pieces.
Okay.
Everything's built by our kids.
To the supervision of a trained, qualified.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Well, I wasn't worried about that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
The shop is right there, so.
Exactly.
I'm kind of asking if the wood shop is being used.
It is, it's being used,
for this.
yes, for sure.
Okay, good, very good.
Yeah.
And then as far as the pit is concerned, certainly there is some concern there. Do we have a small safety training?
That's more by department. Yeah, so it is a concern for me. It's a 10-foot drop, so it is a fall hazard. We do put up, there's caution tape, hazard line, you're not supposed to go around that. We do have a conversation with the kids, we did today, about do's and don'ts. We're very serious about that. Anybody that doesn't follow those rules is going to face very serious consequences because it's dangerous. There are maybe a few steps that we could take further on that, but I feel like we've really done the appropriate action. One thing I have mentioned in the past is putting a net up, but it is fairly expensive. And doing due diligence and just don't goof around the pit, really.
Is the caution tape on the floor, or is it?
It's no, it's hung up on stanchions, so
Okay.
you'd have to walk through it to walk over
It's
it.
showtime that really get
That is
concerned because it comes down for,
This show, we will be having footlights placed at the edge of the stage to
Good.
help add some extra drama, but also adds a little extra safety.
Yeah, and they practice with the caution tape up, and then throughout Tech Week it comes down just for the show and then goes back up right after. So the kids that are on stage are aware of that safety hazard, and that's very common in theater. You're going to have a drop on the edge of the stage no matter what you do. But it is a professional theater. You have to treat it like an adult, and we stress that to the kids very much.
And for my board colleagues, Rachel is a GHS graduate and was in the theater program throughout school.
Graduated from here.
And I'll just say that if you haven't had the opportunity to go see one of the shows at the PAC, go and sneak in behind the scenes and just watch the kids. And I know you're not going to like this, Heather.
Get past me.
I know. I went up to I was there for the Sound of Music, and I went up to the control room.
Yeah.
And I snuck in there, and you're seeing these kids that are working on hundreds of $1,000s worth of equipment, and they're rock stars. And then you go behind the scenes on the stage and see all the hustle and bustle. And then you look down in the orchestra pit and see all the musicians there, and it is phenomenal. Like pieces of the puzzle all there, and it's wonderful. You guys do a great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, all told, I think we have about 100, so we have like 60 different kids, I think. And then parent volunteers on top of that, student volunteers in front of house as well. So it's about 100 people involved in this production. And then we also have, fun fact, Channel 58 is coming in the morning to
cool.
do some recordings of segments of the show. We're not sure when it's going to air yet, but we will let you know. We're very excited about that. And yeah, just make sure you get your tickets ahead of time. It is selling really well, so it's going to be, I think, well beyond anything, even Sound of Music. This is a highly technical show. The choreography is far more difficult than anything the kids have ever done, and the music is extraordinarily difficult as well. But they are 100% pulling it off, so I really hope you all come to see their hard work.
Yes, please do.
Cool.
Can I say something?
Sure.
I got to experience my first Broadway production of The Lion King down at the PAC. And having toured that facility and seen our facility, ours is second to none. I mean, we really have a beautiful facility that compares to the big theaters. So that show can easily fit in our stage production.
We are outfitted to do professional shows.
Absolutely.
We just found out a day ago that our lighting designer was able to snag us some moving lights. So this will literally be like a rock show. There will be lights moving.
Oh my gosh.
And we have LED strips on everything, and I can't say how great it's going to be. It's awesome. We're excited to be using the facility to its full extent. So.
Very good.
And what are the dates again for?
March 6th through the 8th, we have 4 shows. There's 2 7 o'clock shows and 2 2 p.m. shows.
Wonderful. Well,
Yeah.
good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving on to Building Committee.
Yes, we did meet earlier this evening. We have one action item to bring forward to the board. We bring forward to the Board of Education with a positive recommendation to maintenance upgrade the Rockfield elevator as presented and invoice C.D. Smith in the amount presented above and fund the remaining cost from Fund 41 Capital Projects Fund. The proposed board share is $36,993 and the proposed C.D. Smith share is $32,989.
Thank you. Coming to the board with a positive recommendation, doesn't require a second. Do we have discussion? Sir?
I'd just like to mention, I really like getting the controls updated at this time versus, doing it at a later date. And Don informed us that the elevator is 29 years old, so the controls on that elevator are likely in a state where whoever works for that elevator company probably doesn't know very well how they work at this point in time. So I think it's a good deal that we do this now.
Yeah, just for clarification, there was a lot of discussion on this tonight. Should we do it now? Can we wait? And we decided it's probably better to do it now than later. The C.D. Smith portion was a fire code issue. We had to bring it up to fire code, and that we could do either or. We could fix the whole problem and do it all now, or just wait until it breaks down in possibly 2 to 10 years and then end up spending the money again. So we thought it was wise to make the investment now, upgrade it, and hopefully we're also going to get a warranty with it so that if it does break in the future, we're covered. That's kind of our goal in taking care of the older problem now. So it kind of solves all the problems, including the fire safety issue.
At minimum, it seems like we should be good for another 29 years
Right.
on the controls. Keep fingers crossed.
Okay. Further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries.
We also got some updates on capital projects. We had a discussion about having a new roadway put in between County Line School and Crossway Church, and we've decided to move forward with pursuing that as a possible option. We haven't decided for sure if that'll happen, but we're at least looking at what it would cost and what restrictions we'd have to deal with. We also talked about the Germantown High School, Johnson Controls, Medisys problem we have with our controllers for our heating and HVAC in the science wing, and we decided to pursue some other options and see if there's other options to be able to fix the problem, and we haven't made a firm decision on that, so that'll be coming back at a later date. We also are moving forward with the COP safety grant, which will provide door locks for all of our classrooms throughout the district. And if we can do it, we're hopefully going to move forward with that as a grant as well.
Wonderful. Questions, comments?
Brian, you might want to elaborate a little on the door lock so that people don't assume that we don't have door locks.
That's an extra door lock that is made for an intruder in the building that puts a floor lock on the door that somebody can't break in at that point.
Thank you.
Is that a
Yes.
little clear? Okay.
Further comments? Okay, moving on to item 7, Finance Committee. Michael?
Yes, Finance Committee met this evening. It was a brief evening for us. We approved February vouchers, and we also took a look at the 2020 budget process, which starts off with student fees. So what this means is Rick Erickson is a year older with that process starting. There was no action on that this evening, and Rick also has posted the latest, it's Sussex that kind of does the data collection on this for all the local schools for what the student fees are. We're not the lowest cost, we're not the highest cost, but we're in the upper half of the range for cost on student fees. So I think we're in reasonable shape. And that's it.
Okay, questions, comments? All right, moving on to item 8, new business, discussion and action to approve donations. Mr. Holmes?
Yes, I would like to bring to the board's attention a $500 donation to the high school girls basketball program, and you're going to have to thank Anonymous for that. So,
I move to approve this donation and their generosity and thank whoever was the bearer of that gift.
Second.
Discussion? No discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Item B, discussion and action to approve 24 60-day complimentary community use passes. Mr. Holmes?
yes, in discussion with our activities director, looking for ways to give greater visibility to those new areas at the high school, pool, field house, and fitness center. And this is just an idea that's being brought forward to the board. It's certainly board's will. I think, based on my conversation with the activities director and in discussing it with Mr. Soderberg, I do believe that this would be a good thing to try.
Yeah, I reached out to Mr. Holmes last week. I'm sure everybody here is, if you're on social media, I'm sure you're friends with the various PTAs that we have within the school district. All the PTAs, they're going through a lot of fundraising for a lot of their events to generate money to put back into the school, and I'm thinking, well, what better way of giving back to the PTAs? We've got beautiful facilities, field house, pool, the fitness center, that we're paying a monitor today for. So when the community comes in, we've got that cost already, but what better way of giving back to our PTAs and get more traffic into our venues? So that's kind of why this is on the agenda today. And we just took a swag of 24 60-day trials. I mean, I would have no problem flexing up on the 24 because we want the traffic to come in. And it's a 60-day membership, we're paying for that monitor anyway. So what better way of creating opportunities to get increased traffic? So that's why it's here. So, questions, comments? Sir?
I like the idea. I think it's great to get more people in there. After I saw this, I was thinking, well, people probably don't need 60 days to determine if they like what they see.
Right.
I would almost double the number of passes and cut in half the number of days that they
Sure.
get to use it. Don't say 50 passes for 30 days.
Sure. Sir?
So do we have data now, because you figure it's been, what, almost a year since it's been open?
Well, since
Yep.
the start of the school.
We've got,
So I'd
that's
like
on
to see
Sarah.
use
Sarah's
data.
supposed to be bringing you a report here in the spring. So, yes, they are keeping data on it.
we could get the data out sooner the spring.
Yeah,
We'll get
because I'd
something
like to
out.
see where
Just for
we're
our
falling
awareness, right.
in terms of revenue and usage and.
Right.
Brian.
Trying to think, I thought we'd been.
Sir, I'm sorry.
I guess my question is, and I may have missed this, but is there an option to purchase a pass for 30, 60, 90 days now that is available that people can? Or
That's
is it
what-
strictly a fee?
It's fee-based right now, and that was one of the things that.
Is that an option we're considering?
Oh, no, it's common. Ms.
Okay.
Arnardo was going to put together a formula based on usage and the fees and the amounts being paid, and trying to come up with a fair formula. for
So
putting
eventually
that
you
in
can
place.
buy like an annual pass?
Yep,
Okay.
that's the
That'd be
path
great.
she said.
That'd be great.
I know when we talked about this, we just, I think, because we really, there's still, we still need to have conversations with possibly Parks and Rec on seeking a partner on this. But when we went down the path of getting the hall monitor, or I don't think we call it that, whatever we call it, we were going to take baby steps on this. And if I want to show up just for one day, there's a fee associated with that. And we haven't had any conversations, at least at our level, in terms of an annual membership yet. And I think we're waiting for Sarah to make some recommendations to us.
And I will, board can go ahead and start thinking about this. One of the things that I would suggest is that the district consider researching, taking over the Recs piece of Parks and Rec. The majority of your districts throughout the state of Wisconsin, the school districts do take on that. And it's one where I do believe, based on everything that I currently know and some of the data that I have seen, I think it would be a worthwhile time spent to find out if that is something that the district should likely take over from the village, is the Recs.
I know we talked about that a couple of years ago, and we were right in the middle of the construction, and at that time, the board didn't have appetite, because we just didn't
Right.
have the bandwidth or capacity for it. But I think we're at that point in time where that could be an opportunity for us to go down that path. So we'll see. Okay. I'll entertain a motion. Lester?
I move to allow for the creation of 50 complimentary 30-day trial membership cards to be dispersed by the Activities Director Office under the criteria developed by that office.
Second.
Discussion? Sir?
I would hope too that, I absolutely agree that PTA should be one of the organizations as part of this. I would hope that we would also consider things like the band program, choir program, those kinds of things, the Germantown Scholarship Program, because there may be others who might be willing to bid on such things and then be able to help those groups as well. So I like the idea too of having more maybe for a shorter period of time.
Well, we
I don't
could-
know how that would fit into whatever criteria. Obviously, that'll be up to them. They'll do the research better. But I just hope that it would go beyond, PTAs are great, but I think if we can go beyond that to some of the other groups that are also, part of, we have sports activities as well, those kind of groups that might make sense also for fundraisers for those groups.
Yeah, we could certainly amend the motion, or we could, what I think would probably the best path to go down is work with Sarah, identify those groups and what the needs are, and then we can always put this on the agenda at a later board meeting.
Well, again, I'm okay with
Yeah.
leaving it in their hands right now.
Okay.
And certainly we can reevaluate this on a year-to-year basis or something too. But for now, we're just looking for a one-time shot, right?
No, I think that at the
Alright.
next board meeting, we could come back and what I would like to do is approve this tonight.
Yeah, okay.
But at the next board meeting, we can expand this to the groups that you mentioned. I just don't know how many of
Okay.
those groups are.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
So whatever we can do to kind of spread it a little bit far and wide, I think is fantastic.
Get some excitement.
Yeah, it absolutely would.
great.
I could see people bidding on things like this or,
Yep.
at any and all of those kind of organizations.
Pretty cool. Any, sir?
Yeah, it's a great idea, good marketing for our facilities, and maybe we can get some people in there as regular customers that otherwise might not have
Right.
done it. So, yeah, I think it's a great promotion here. Thank you.
Okay. See no other comments? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to item C, discussion and action to approve retirements. Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Nowak?
Thank you. We have two retirements, teacher retirements to bring forward today. First off, Kara Brandles, 5th grade teacher at Amy Bell Elementary School. She's requesting that the board accept her decision to retire at the end of the 1920 school year. In addition to working as an instructional aide for 6 years, Kara has taught at Amy Bell Elementary School for the past 16 years. Secondly, Linda Gould, special education teacher at Amy Bell Elementary School, is requesting that the board accept her decision to retire at the end of the 1920 school year. Linda has had the unique experience of teaching at all of the elementary schools in Germantown throughout the past 27 years. In her 33-year career, she also taught 3 years at Forest Park Middle School in Franklin and 3 years at Lannon Elementary School in Sussex. We ask that you consider and ultimately approve both of these requests.
Entertain a motion.
Move to approve the request for retirement at the conclusion of the 2019-2020 school year for Kara Brandel and for Linda Gold, and to thank them for their many years of service to our district.
Second.
Discussion? No discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to item D, discussion and action to approve updated board goals. Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Soderberg.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes. Several weeks ago, everybody got draft 1 or version 1 of the 2019-2020 Board of Education goals, which several things were updated from the previous goals in 2016-17. And I just want to get this out for consideration to move forward. We are a very high-performing school district. Our school report card is very good. Our ACT scores are above the state average. Our co-curricular participation rate is through the roof at 79%. Our graduation rate is at 98%. We've got a balanced budget. We've got a high bond rating and a very healthy fund balance. But I think there's opportunity, seeing that all the referendum work is done, that we could flex up on the percent for the maintain the minimum fund balance, and I put down 15%, but that's, we can do whatever we want to do. And then I put down another thing would be to create new overreaching facility master plan to include outdoor sports venues, education services, and operational funding gaps.
Overarching.
Overarching.
You don't want it to be overreaching. You want it to be
Overarching, I'm sorry, it was overarching. And then on board member effectiveness, I just added a couple words to it: collaborative staff and colleague relations. But I think these are very good goals. It's a goal tree. We've got our purpose, which is our vision, mission, and directive initiative. And we've got 3 goals. We've got several objectives, and we've got some metrics that will measure our performance. And I would ask for consideration to approve these tonight. And I know, Brian, I know we're going down the path with the ad hoc committee on developing our own German way metrics to measure effectiveness.
I do like that being added.
I support that 100%.
Absolutely.
So, comments, thoughts? Sir?
Fund balance now is 12%?
That's 12%.
12%.
Yeah.
Yeah, my question is related to fund balance as well. Our 12% goal, which we've been able to maintain, has been sufficient to get us a bond rating increase. I'd hate to set a goal at 15% and then have that limit us as to what kind of things we want to do. So I'd be in favor of leaving it at 12%.
Okay. Thoughts?
I think the main thing on that is if the balance goes too low, and 12% certainly isn't too low, it affects the date at which you can go for short-term funding, for the rest of the year. And I think, I don't know, you don't want to do it before September 1st, right? If it's really bad, if the fund balance is really low, I think the rules change from the state.
Well, I think you're going to be looking at an October closing date for what's called tax and revenue anticipation notes, trans. We'll be going back to where we were, let's just say, pre this board. So, and it's not unusual.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in, to me, you're in the range of where you should be to meet your goals.
And I don't know if you recall, but we never had a goal or a metric for fund balance before until probably about 6 or 7 years ago. And because we are the stewards of taxpayers' money, we needed that in place. And the board has been very fiscally responsible in spending dollars from the fund balance. We paid for the Rockfield expansion out of the fund balance without impact to taxpayers. We paid for land over at MacArthur to tear down 2 homes and expand the parking lot without increasing taxes to the taxpayers. We did the same thing over at Amy Bell with land to build a septic field so that we could keep Amy Bell a 3-track school. So this board has been very fiscally responsible in terms of how we spend the fund balance. And the reason why I put it down there, we during the superintendent interview process, we heard some comments from superintendents on where their fund balance were. So that's why I put that in there. And I think we all agree that we would like to build up on our fund balance. It's just a goal, so. And if we want to keep it at 12, that's fine.
I would be in favor of putting it in the range 12 to 15.
Yeah, I think the higher number might be good in the sense that it's a goal and a little bit of a rainy day fund. Something happens like the elevator at Rockfield.
Yeah.
We weren't really expecting that, but
Yep.
these things happen all the time.
12%, 15%?
I'd like to see 15%. That
Yeah.
gives us a little cushion, and I don't think our bond rating will be adjusted. or
No, I'm not saying it's gonna
downward.
impact our bond rating. I'm saying that having a 12% was enough to maintain a good bond rating.
Oh, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I'm okay setting a goal, even if it turns into be a one that might be tough to attain.
Right.
I'd just be concerned that we might have to make actions that force us to
Meet the goal.
meet the goal or not meet the goal.
Right. Okay. Sir?
I like Brian's suggestion of a 12 to 15 to give us a range.
Right.
That seems really reasonable, and then, we can play within that, and then we can feel that we have accomplished the goal,
Well, I like having concrete numbers, and if we feel that 15% could end up causing adverse actions, why don't we go ahead and go 13% this year, and at next year's evaluation, then incrementally go up? But I think having a firm number,
Okay. All right. Are we okay with 13%?
I'm behind that.
Sure. Okay. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we accept the board's goals, the Board of Education goals for the 2019-2020 school year, as presented, with the exception of changing the 15% minimum for the fund balance to 13%.
Second.
Discussion? No discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Moving on to item E, discussion and action to approve overnight GHS FBLA trip. Mr. Holmes.
Yes. On behalf of Mr. Farren, I'm submitting the FBLA overnight travel request for 56 of Germantown High School's Future Business Leaders of America students and 4 advisors. Mr. Baumann, Mr. Meyer, Ms. Miller, and a parent to be named are submitting their overnight travel request to compete at the FBLA State Leadership Conference March 29th through the 31st in Madison, Wisconsin. Student costs will be paid by student contributions and funds from the FBLA account. In relation to recent history, high school administration is requesting the board to provide the funding for state competition for transportation advisor costs, or $2,316 of the total cost of $9,636. Recommendation would be to approve the overnight travel request for 56 FBLA students and 4 advisors to attend the FBLA State Leadership Conference March 29th through March 31st in Madison, Wisconsin, with a maximum of $2,316 of the total cost funded by the board.
I move to approve the request as presented.
Second.
Discussion? No discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Entertain one more motion.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Discussion? No discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. We are adjourned at 7:50. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight, and please drive home safe.